Hello everyone, I'm Yvonne, a children's librarian here at the Manchester City Library, and you have found the weekly craft videos for our Oceans of Possibilities summer reading program. These videos are for our junior crafters, which are grades 3 to 6. So if you have signed up for the Manchester City Library summer reading program and are in grades 3 to 6, good job, you found us. If you are not yet signed up for the Manchester City Library Summer Reading Program and you are in the Manchester area, then you can still sign up. This is actually week 7, so it's our penultimate or second to last week of our summer reading program. So if you want to sign up, you got to do it real fast. But if you do sign up, even now in the 7th week, you will get our craft bag, which will have crafts for the entire summer. So if you want to, you can go back and see the videos we have previously posted to help you work through crafts 1 through 6. And so if you are actually not in grades 3 through 6, or you don't live in the Manchester area, you can definitely still watch the video. We don't mind. And so I hope that we can get our stuff together and have some fun. So as mentioned, there are all the craft bags in our welcome kit. So I want you to go in and to pull out week 7 bag. You will also need some supplies from home. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need some glue. If you want to, if you have some Mod Podge, which is a special sort of sealant, you can use that at the end of our bead making, which is what we're doing this week, paper beads. You can also get a brush if you want to keep your hands clean and are not sure that you'll be able to do that with just the glue. So the brush is also optional. What we really need are scissors, glue, and the kit from our bag. So let's get all that together and we'll meet back here. All right, everyone. I hope you've got everything you need. I've got some glue. I've got my scissors. I've got my kit, which is week 7. Inside of the kit, I have 6 outlines, so 6 templates for our paper beads. I've got 2 pages are a 1-page spread from a magazine. I have 1 dowel, which is just a round stick, a round piece of wood. And then I also have some elastic string and then 2 plastic pony beads. I'm going to put those back in here so I don't lose them. Okay, so step number 1 is to cut out the bead outlines. I'm going to go ahead and cut them all out. If you just want to cut one out to start with, that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and do it all. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut out around the whole outline, including around the dotted section. So just all the way around. Okay? Okay, so here we have all of our cutouts. We've got our isosceles triangle. So the triangle with these 2 sides that are the same. We've got our little V shape here. We've got our right triangle. So this side is at a 90-degree angle. We've got our long sort of E. We've got our mostly straight one. And we've got our little wedge-shaped one. Okay, now these are all just our templates. So we're not actually going to be making these into beads. We are going to use our paper here to make the beads themselves, right? So we're going to choose what ones we want to use based on kind of like the color. And let's see. going to do this koala. So we're going to take our bead shapes. We're going to lay them on the paper to try and get the most out of it. We're going to go ahead, and then what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut around these to make our paper beads. Now I find it easiest to get a pen and then to trace around these bead templates and then cut them out. I think that is the easiest way to do this. If you can think of a better way, then go ahead and do that. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lay these out and then trace around them and then show you how that ends up. Okay, so when I was arranging my outlines, I actually decided not to go with the koala and decided to do this page instead because I think it's going to be more interesting when I actually roll up the beads. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this page out along the outlines that I traced. The good thing about this is that you should have enough to do 2 whole sets of beads, one with each page that you have in your kit. I'm just going to do one with you, but you can definitely have fun. And of course, you don't even have to do only these magazines. If you have your own at home or like just some cool paper you want to use, once you see how the beads actually roll up and what it does to the colors and patterns, then you can definitely experiment more. But for now, I'm just going to cut these out and then we can see for ourselves. Okay, so now we've got all of our bead outlines traced and cut out of our magazine. Got all of those shapes to test. Now we want to make sure we have our stick and our glue ready. And also now is probably a good time to check and make sure you are in a space that it is okay to be a little bit messy because we are probably going to get some glue on whatever we are working on. So make sure that you are ready to proceed. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our very first one. Let's take our nice triangle shape. Okay, and we're going to look at this, and this is the time you gotta make your final decision on which side you want to use. So you have to decide which side do you want to be on the outside of the bead. Okay, I'm going to go with the roller coaster one, which is the one I had facing out when I traced it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stick, my little dowel, and I'm going to go to the flat side where we had the dotted rectangle on our template. That's the side that we want to start on. And I'm going to put my dowel on top of the side that I don't want. So I'm going to put the side that I do not want on my bead face up. And then I'm going to roll the paper around the dowel. And this can be like a little bit tricky at first because we got to get that paper tucked underneath the dowel, and we want to do it pretty tight, not like the most tight, but pretty tight. Okay, and then once we got that going just a little bit, that's when we're going to put the glue, just a little bit of glue onto the magazine on our stick. So we do not want to get glue on our stick, not even a little bit, because we don't want anything to actually get stuck to the stick. And then we want to put a little bit of glue down our paper. You don't want a lot of glue because we're going to roll this really tight, and as we roll, the glue is actually going to get squished down along our bead, just like if you are rolling up a tube of toothpaste. It all gets squished towards the end, and that's the same thing we're doing with our bead. So I'm just rolling this. We're going to keep on rolling this. And you can see the glue is moving with us, which is great. Make sure we keep this straight. Okay, and then when we get to the end, I'm gonna just put like a little bit extra glue on the very end because we want that to stick, right? Okay, then I'm gonna give it a couple of seconds to sort of get a little bit stuck together. And then I'm going to scoot it right off of our stick. And that is our very first bead. And if you see how the colors ended up going, so we ended up seeing only like the ends of the colors because this was our triangle, remember? I think this one was our right triangle, I'm pretty sure. Wait. So as we rolled it up, right, we actually ended up seeing only like the very edges of the image of those colors as it rolled, right? So it's really interesting to see like what you started out with and then what you end up with color-wise. Okay, so we basically just continue to do that. So I'm going to go and I'm going to roll up the rest of these beads and you can see how it goes. And then we will finish making this bracelet together. Okay. Okay, so we've got all of our different beads. Honestly, a few of these I think I rolled a little bit too tight and maybe wasn't as careful as I should have been with my glue because a couple of them were really hard to get off. But I did get them all. So this one is from this template here. You can kind of see the 3 bumps. We've got this one from this template. There we go. So we've got this one from this template. And it has like 2 kind of curved bumps on it. We've got this one here from this template here. All right, honestly, these 2 triangles are very similar, but I think this one is from this one here, the right triangle. They got a little bit crooked on when I rolled them, so it's a little bit hard to tell. But they still look pretty cool either way. All right, so now we've explored our shapes a little bit. If you wanted to, if you were like, wow, I really didn't like one of these templates very much and I would like to have more of one of the other ones, that's what our extra magazine pieces are for. But once you get some beads that you like, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take out our string and our 2 beads. We're going to go ahead and string the beads on here in whatever order you would like. Okay, so here we go. To go around my wrist, I needed basically all the beads we had. So I'm going to go ahead and see what feels right. Honestly, this is a lot easier if you have a helper. So if you have a grown-up or a sibling or a friend that you can get to help you do this part, that would probably be a good idea. So go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and tie a knot where I thought it felt good on my wrist. Okay. And then I've got these two beads. Of course, you can put these beads wherever you would like in your bracelet. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tie them on the end here. Okay, because I think a little bit of dangly makes this fancy. I'm going to find my scissors and I'm just going to trim off the extra cord. If you want to make sure your knots are extra secure, you can put like a little dab of glue on it. That's a good way of keeping your strings from untying on you. And go ahead and put that on. And there you go, you've got your very own recycled paper beads. Now, if you wanted to use your Mod Podge, then what you would do is probably before we actually put them onto our bead string is you would just take your Mod Podge and probably a paintbrush, dip it in, and then you would just sort of paint it on the outside. And that would make sure that the beads were sealed and possibly a little bit shiny. And then you would need to put those aside. It's suggested to sort of put the beads on little toothpicks or something so that they don't sit on the ground when they have wet Mod Podge on them. Like I said, if that's if you want to be a little bit fancy, and that's what I've heard. But I think that they look pretty awesome just with it glued together. Just make sure not to get them very wet, and they will last for a good long time. All right, everyone, I hope that you enjoyed making these wonderful paper bead bracelets with me today. It's just one way that you can use some recycled items to make some really cool things. And we do want to do that, especially as we are talking about our oceans. We want to remember to keep them as clean as possible. I do also want to remind everyone to make sure that you are recording your minutes in Read Squared if you are doing the summer reading program here at the Manchester City Library. If you have not recorded all your minutes, make sure to do that or bring in your reading records to one of our two libraries, either the Main or the West Branch, to make sure to get your raffle tickets and be able to enter into our weekly raffle. This is the second to last week, remember, so you want to make sure you get everything done, including any missions that you have. Read Squared does have some missions that ask you to do different things around town or to attend different programs, and you're really running out of time if you want to do those missions. But if you're close to getting them done, it's a really good time to just get those extra points in to get some more raffle tickets as we reach the end of summer reading. I hope that you have had a great time so far. I definitely have, and I am looking forward to seeing you again, same time, same place next week for our very last summer reading craft. Until then, bye!